baby's found somebody new. Or is my baby still my baby true?
Okay, great. So that's the eternal question. Is you is or is you ain't my baby? Something to think about, right? Let's go to the music first, the instrumental. I got a gal who's always late anytime we have a date, but I love her. Yes, I love her. Just quickly see that we've got, I don't know how many tracks we had of vocals. I think I did a final comp. I think I did 7 takes, 7 or 8 takes. And the last take, this last take was like the craziest take, or the loosest. So usually the smoothest takes are like take 4 through 6. This time, because I thought I had the take, I said, all right, this is take 8, just be sloppy. And in fact, that was the best take for the song, because it's like it's got this sort of ribald Cookie Monster energy. So I added harmonic exciter, a tube exciter, very slight on the mid-range from 2.35 to 5.6 to help it punch through. So I didn't want it to be terribly smooth, the vocal in this song. So you can see here on the screen, it's just in the mid-range here, and it's not that much. Is it 5.6? What do we have? It's about, yeah, it is. It's significant, but targeted at the mid-range here. And our first instrumental is the drums by Crit. So he was based in Bangkok. And as you can see, we've got everything. I think it's 9 or 10 mics. 1, 2, 3, I don't know. Yeah, 10 mics. Standard drum miking. I mean, the minimum you could probably get away with is 4, 3. And just take a quick look at some of the snare. Snare top, so important because of the brushing sound. So want to get rid of the boxiness in the middle of the snare. Snare top and snare bottom, so important. Again, with the bottom, add a little bit more bass on the bottom. No compression except on the toms. A medium compression with a pretty quick attack. So again, as I said, so I'm mixing my own stuff here. This is remote production using a reference track that is cobbled. The reference track is cobbled together. Sometimes I'm actually just humming what I want into the reference track, and sometimes it's just a click. Say, okay, play something along with this sort of shuffly sound. Maybe give me 2 variations. And we're, given the limitations of what we have, we're aiming for, what works. Excellence is great. Perfection is not really anything I'm looking at. Oh, here's a tom right here. See those toms? What? So there's some bleed from the other mics, but kick drum, wow. So taking away boxiness, taking away the top. So one of the advantages of the remote production is that it allows you to access talent who's not necessarily in your scene or city. So that kind of offsets all these variables you've got to think about when you're working with this stuff. Let's look at trumpet. So this is Ravi. He is based in New Orleans. He's also from Thailand, and he referred me to the drummer. So those guys, they didn't come as a package, but they were friends. I said, why not? We've got a pretty heavy reverb on there. Yeah, I've got a cathedral reverb. I wanted it to be pretty spacious. Look, if you solo an instrument with the reverb, it may sound too large. You've got to listen to it all together, and when it's all together, it doesn't sound too large. The decay sort of merges in to the other instrumentals. You can hear it a couple times. this is his solo, so you can see how much, let's move this over. Yeah, this is where a lot of the volume automation comes in. And why am I dipping and ducking so much? Well, it has to do with Rudy's organ coming up next. So we've got Rudy's organ not competing. That's the whole point. I don't want them to fight each other, so we have to duck them. Rudy's organ. Rudy's based in Italy. I specifically wanted a Hammond, I think this is a B3. I have to check. I wanted an actual Hammond with the rotating Leslie speaker. Here we go. That's real Hammond. Love it. It's so juicy.
Is you is or is you ain't my baby. The way you're acting lately makes me doubt.
What did we have here? Oh, he's got solo. Rudy gave me solo. He gave me, what did he give me? He gave me solo. He gave me rhythm and bass. Solo, rhythm, and bass. So the solo is 13% left. I think that's because Ravi's horn is on the right. You can't have them competing in the same area. Traditional jazz doesn't really play that much with panning. It's not radical though, 13% left, 13 or so percent right. What do we've got here? Okay, so the rhythm is 8% left, so a little bit off axis. And the bass, just a little bit left of center. So let's go to Rudy's solo. I think Rudy gave me two deliveries of 3 tracks. The first pass was, it was missing something, and then he got it. He nailed it on the second one. The organ is not, it doesn't have a smooth attack. It's like too sharp. It's bang. You can hear that little punchy click from the organ. And in this case, I wanted that. There's his rhythm. Nice. And this is the bass, which is pretty interesting to hear. So there's no stand-up bass in here. It's all Rudy's organ bass.
Since I love her, I'm gonna walk right up to her gate, see if I can get things straight.
And there we go. That's Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Baby. All organic. Vocals all organic. So I don't know where the scatting came. It just kind of flopped out when I was doing this take because it was so ribald. But Ravi's horn is still playing. So you can see here with the automation, it was a real challenge. I didn't want to hog the spotlight away from Ravi, yet I needed, so it's a weaving act. I had to weave this scatting in. If you listen to the track, you'll hear it like weaving in and out of Ravi's. That's a choice. So anyway, that's it. Warts and all. Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Baby. Moving on to the next track is Angel Eyes. I'm Robert Marleigh here showing you some behind the scenes action from Needle on the Rim. Recent release, March 27th release. Celebrating International Jazz Day. Yeah. See you after the next number. Okay, so where am I recording? Sometimes I record in the studio if it's a commercial project or, yeah, commercial project. They've got a budget. Otherwise, I record in my own treated space. And I had a portable booth but I've just broken it down. So now I'm recording over here in this improvised cabinet. Audio Technica AT2035. Decent mic. It's very common in the voiceover world to make a voiceover nook like this, and so I basically just devised the same thing but for crooning, for singing. I've got the Scarlett interface. Actually, what I usually do is I'll set up a table or something out here, and I'll go from here, have the Scarlett interface hooked into the laptop, and I'll just do my takes that way using an earbud as a for reference track. Kind of a cloudy day today. Now it's kind of sunny too. Okay. It was raining a little bit. Let me show you my workroom where I do the mixing and mastering and video editing and a lot of my other stuff. So here we are. Pennies from heaven. Gotta have the fans here. Studio monitor headphones, Audio-Technica. I forget which ones these are. Flat response though, highly necessary. And in between rounds of mixing and mastering, flop out there. This is a work apartment. This is not my living apartment. So, storage, a lot of other stuff. Where the magic happens.